right, Drive 615. So now we are behind the wheel of the all-new 2019 AMG GLE 43 Coupe by Mercedes Benz. This is their mid-size luxury SUV, 5 seats. We're again in the coupe version. This is a perfect blend, or the middle of the road, between the GLA, which I did a review on. You can click here in the upper right hand corner to watch that video, as well as the GLS, which I've also reviewed. There's different modes in this vehicle, and as with all AMGs, there is a break-in period up to 1,000 miles, so we're not going to be doing any hard accelerations or anything, but I will show you the different settings. There's 5 different modes. We start off in comfort. If we went to the left, that would put us in our individual mode, which we can kind of tailor to our liking. Back into comfort, click it to the right, that'll put us in sport. Don't know if you guys could hear that. We felt it, we heard it while in the vehicle, but it ups your RPMs, gives you a little bit heartier exhaust note, and kind of sets you up in sport mode as far as the suspension and acceleration goes. One more click to the right will put us in Sport Plus. It raised up our RPMs again as well, and I've noticed, so we'll set it down into comfort. We're cruising right now at about 35 miles an hour, and we're at 1,500 RPM. Change it into Sport, we go up to around 1,750, and put it into Sport Plus, around 2,500 RPM is where we're kind of idling at. So that just shows you, changing between the modes not only changes the feel of the car, but it also changes the internal engine and just how you're accelerating. So we'll pop it back into comfort again so we can just have a smooth ride. We're gonna go ahead and hop out and take a look at the vehicle. What's going on, Drive 615, Byron Glover Jr. coming to you live. Thanks again to Mercedes Benz of Nashville for allowing me the opportunity to review this vehicle. I've reviewed a lot of cars from them. If you click a link in the upper right hand corner, you can see all the cars I've done from them. Let's see what is powering this vehicle. We'll start here in the front. Pull up here on this red lever here up under the steering wheel. That'll pop the hatch for you. One thing I love about Mercedes-Benz is the hood release is actually really easy. It's right up under here in line with the badges. Real simple, no fumbling around. Just simply pull up on it and you're good to go. What's powering it? It is a bi-turbo 3-liter V6 producing 385 horsepower, 384 pound-foot of torque. This is Mercedes-Benz mid-size luxury SUV. So let's see what this mid-size SUV is all about. It'd be intuitive to look for a handle somewhere here around the base of the hatch, but in actuality, it's up under here right above the license plate. There's a little lever. You pull on that handle, automatic open of the rear hatch. You see here we have our rear sunshade. This is actually fixed, meaning it does not fold up or retract. It is one single unit that you can pop right out. Here, fairly light, maybe 1.5 pounds or so. Got some felt on the back. We'll leave this out for now so we can see just how much space we're working with. First, we'll take a look here at some of the essentials. Comes with a first aid kit that's standard on most Mercedes-Benz. A 12-volt outlet right there in case you want to plug something in, charge something. Speaker on this side, cargo net compartment here. These levers come down on either side. Simply flip out if you wanted to attach something across, keep something from sliding in between. We have hooks right here on the left and right side if you wanted to strap something down. But what we'll go ahead and do is we'll lower the rear seats here in a second so you can see exactly how much space you get. There's also tethers on the back of those seats too. Last but not least, the spare tire in this vehicle is located underneath the floorboard here. This entire piece pivots up, revealing the spare tire right here. While we're here, we'll go ahead and grab the sticker so we can show you a few of the different options on the vehicle as well. What we're going to do is we're going to lower the rear seats so we can get a full view of how much space we're working with. There's a nice diagram here that simply reminds you that you need to make sure the front seats of the car are moved up further enough to where you can fold down the rear seats without hitting any of the two. You're going to pull up here on this loop, which will pull up half the seats. You'll know it's into place because won't snap, but it'll fully extend and you'll know that it is ready to go. To get the rear seats down, you're going to pull here on this lever. want to make sure that your headrests are in the fully retracted state. This is how they should be whenever you're driving, fully up for comfort and safety. But push here on this button, make sure they're flattened, that way they won't hit here on the underside of the rear bench. So you're gonna pull up on the lever. It's really a two-hand job. This will come down here. So this now is fully flattened. You can see here we've got a lot of space. We've got our two tether hooks up there, as well as the initial ones that I pointed out here. I'm gonna come around to this side and lower this seat as well. Same deal, want to make sure this seat's further enough up, pull on the loop, pop that up, make sure your headrest is flat, pull on the lever, flop this down, and now we've got full access to the entire vehicle. Right here is a compartment, which if you open this up, then when the seat is up, simply pop down where the cup holders are and you get full access straight through. If you want to put something long like some kind of wood or some pair of skis, something where you want to keep the seats up where enough people can sit in here but also have some good storage to the back cargo area. Now we're going to go and flop up the seats, and you'll see that just in a matter of seconds we can take this car from something where you could haul something big around to where now you can haul some people around. So I'll pop this up right here, put this seat down, put these seats up, put the back down, and now we've converted the vehicle into, again, something where you can store items, now where you can haul around people. Get this here. This is going to be an automatic close of the rear boot by simply pushing the button right there. We're going to take a look here at the sticker. Got a couple different options. This is stickered at $80,775, but the Mercedes Benz dealership has got a nice discount here for the holidays. So let's go ahead and take a look. One of the first options that I really love, I always talk about this in my videos, the AMG multi-spoke wheels. You gotta go with the multi-spoke wheels. Yes, it's a $1,250 option, but it's an option well worth the money. I think they look great. 22-inch wheels all the way around. Pirelli P0 285s in the front, Pirelli P0 325s in the rear. Speaking of the rear, if you take a look at the rear of this vehicle, it's very beefy tires. You can see how aggressive it looks with these 325s stuffed up underneath. This really offsets the car nicely. We have a trailer hitch option here, which is a $575 option. Right here are the dual exhaust pipes. This is part of the night package, the AMG night package. This gives you blacked out tailpipes as well as front and rear aprons, as well as blacked out A-wings. Come up here, we have not an active aero wing, but a little bit of a ducktail. Gives you some more aerodynamic, a little bit more downforce here on this coupe. I'm gonna go ahead and sit in the rear seat. I said in every video, I'm a real tall guy, 6'5" tall. Let's see how I fit here in the back. Again, the aerodynamics of this car is a coupe, so we lose a little bit of headroom, but let's see how I fit. And surprisingly well, actually. The way the seats kind of lower down, hunker down, get a nice bit of headroom up here as far as legroom goes. Actually really well. There's nice cutouts on either side. Of course, the cargo net here to store things, but this is where the air conditioning comes out, but also gives you some nice legroom as well. We have the saddle brown interior, which really sets off this car as well. A lot of nice stitching through here, which I think looks good. It's kind of a cream colored stitching. And then we have the reverse right here, black leather with the brown saddle stitching all across the front dash. We have the black wood grain throughout. Again, there's a really nice spec on this car. Not something I've seen. Normally you see a lot of black on black Mercedes, but I think the black with the saddle brown really sets this particular spec up nicely. So now that we're behind the wheel of the AMG GLE, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features as well as aesthetics. So here in the driving cluster, we have a few different things. We'll start here in this quadrant. The upper right button is a new button to me. That is DSR, or downhill speed regulation. You can only press this button and it will only engage when you are either in individual mode, comfort mode, or slippery mode. You cannot access it when you are in Sport or Sport Plus. If you try and access it when you're in Sport, for example, you'll get not in drive program Sport message. So we'll put it into comfort. We'll press the DSR button, and that essentially will give you assistance when you're going downhill. It will basically lock you in place. It's set at 4 miles an hour right now, and you can increase or lower that by raising up or down in the stalk in 1 mile an hour increments. So going down or pushing up, you can increase it all the way to 11 miles per hour is the highest you can set it at. Now the M button will set you into manual mode. Again, this is an AMG vehicle. We do have paddle shifters here, so it's pretty sporty if you'd like to manually control it. Otherwise, you can press M again. That'll take you out of manual mode. This bottom button here in the left corner will show you where the turning radius of the vehicle is, as well as the suspension. You see right over here a 1 and a -1. And what we'll do is we'll keep it there and we'll switch between the different modes. Not only will you see it, the suspension physically changing on the screen, but you'll actually feel it virtually. You'll feel it in the car, and you'll hear the compressor turning on, and you'll actually see the suspension changing between the different modes. So we'll put it into sport. And of course, it gives us a nice little diagram here. We hear a little bit more throaty exhaust note, and you'll see here the bottom part of the vehicle is illuminated in yellow, and now we can see that this has gone down, which means the car has dropped an inch. Now we'll go over here into slippery mode and see what happens when that turns on. Hear the compressor running in the car right now. You see this rising, so we're actually getting a little bit of increase. You see on the diagram that it's depicting the car on kind of a slippery surface, maybe something that looks like rain or snow, of course. So now we're back to our level ride height. Now, pushing this button right here will raise the vehicle. You'll see here again, we've engaged the suspension, and the car is slowly rising, as well as with the indication here between the tachometers. So just in a moment we will be up to a +1. We should have quite a bit of wheel gap once we go ahead and let this finish its sequence. As you can tell, it's about 10-15 seconds or so to fully raise or to fully lower the vehicle. This will stop illuminating here on the screen as soon as the sequence finishes. We'll take a step out here and take a look. So now we got the vehicle fully in its raised position, and just out of curiosity I brought out a ruler. I want to see exactly where we're sitting at right now, as well as where we're sitting at once we lower the vehicle. So we'll measure from the center cap up, from the top of the tire to the top of the fairing is approximately right around 4 inches or so, give or take. And let's go ahead and fully lower it, getting our ride height down to -1 inches, which should bring us down to about a 1.5 inch ride. So let's take a look and see. And wow, would you look at that, guys? -1 inch. So I think it looks really aggressive. We had it jacked up a couple inches. Now it looks real mean that it's in its lowered stance position. You could probably even drop it a little bit lowered if you put lowering springs on it or a lowering module. This is a good looking car all around though, honestly. I really was kind of hesitant about it at first, but it's really growing on me. I mean, the more time I spend with it. Only thing differently I would do would be, it does have the AMG night package. That doesn't include window tint. I would tint the front windows, black out the handles, black out the badging, and black out this running board. But other than that, it's a pretty beastly vehicle. Again, we've already got almost everything blacked out in the front as a part of the AMG night package. The only thing that is not blacked out is this one center strip through here with the logo. Other than that though, this car is almost ready to roll straight off the lot. Why would you buy this vehicle? Why would you spend right under $76,000 on this car? Well, it'd be if you want something practical with speed. Okay, this is a mid-size luxury SUV. Still has an AMG engine, bi-turbo V6. Right, got plenty of space. You can haul around 5 people in this car, or pop down the rear seats. Got plenty of rear cargo space. So it'd be someone kind of looking for the best of both worlds, right? You want that speed, you want the luxury, and you want the comfort. I said the same thing in my video about the 4x4 squared, but then again, that's a $250,000 car. It's huge. It's not necessarily as quick and nimble as this, right? So this would be again at a fraction of the price for one. Maybe you don't want to go full size and get the GLS, which I did a review video on. Click in the upper right hand corner to watch that one as well. But maybe you don't want as small as the GLE. Also did a video on that one. Check that one out as well. This is kind of that best of both worlds. This is that 3 bear scenario where not too hot, not too cold, just right. This would be the vehicle for you. So you're looking at a right around, there's an $80,000 sticker on it, just under 76 at the dealership. You can pick it up there. If you end up wanting this vehicle, direct message me on Instagram. I will be happy to get you set up and see if I can't work you out a good deal. Just a real smooth ride. Again, it's probably one of the smoothest driving vehicles I've been in a while. Sitting on 22-inch wheels, so that could play a part in it. They're not aggressive tires by any means. They're low-profile Pirelli P0s. Some meaty tires in the back. We're sitting on 325s in the rear, 285 in the front, and it's just a smooth riding car. It's extremely luxurious, fairly low-key. That is one thing, to note about this vehicle. Maybe you don't want to be super flashy driving around and super loud SVR Range Rover or the crazy Trackhawk. Somewhat. The Trackhawk's a little bit more expensive, but it's in that same price range as the Trackhawk. Similar price range as like a X5M. So mid-size luxury. If you're loyal to Mercedes, then obviously this is going to be the car for you. If you're kind of looking for that, this is definitely a strong contender. Again, if you're not really ready to graduate to a full-size SUV, full-size Range Rover, GLS, X6M, the bigger size vehicles, you kind of want to keep it a little bit more low profile, a little bit more low key, but also still have some space to haul around things. This is a good option for you. This is the Coupe. You don't have to get the Coupe. You can get the full-size sedan, full-size SUV. Choice is yours. But I kind of like the look of this. It's a little bit more sporty, a little bit more aggressive look as well. One thing though to note is that this vehicle somewhat blends in, right? So I am a car enthusiast myself. I've always loved cars. It's honestly hard to keep up with how many different iterations, how many different variations of vehicles manufacturers are coming out with this today, especially Mercedes, right? So we've got, I guess, the GLE, the GLC, the GLS, the GLK, a lot of G's, and then we've got, the whole CLS, CLA, CLK, a lot of numbers, letters, G163. I feel like I'm at an auction bidding off things. G63, G550, 4x4 squared, and people might not realize that this is a GLE 43. It's an AMG engine that you paid $76,000 for it, right? And my mom's friend or something may be like, oh, my girlfriend has one of those, right? They do have a Mercedes. It is a Mercedes SUV, but is it necessarily the AMG version? I guess essentially what I'm getting at is it's tough to tell these days what exactly the car is, right? And people might not realize. So if you're looking to buy a car because you want to show off and let everyone know you spent $76,000, then you might be better off, I was gonna say getting a Z06, but there again, C7 Stingray, I know, don't be triggered. Looks similar, right? I know it doesn't look exactly the same. Obviously the Z06 is wider, a little more aggressive, but at first glance, people say, oh, it's a C7 Corvette, right? At first glance, people say, oh, this is a Mercedes. True car enthusiast, and you yourself, of course, would know that you purchased this vehicle for the performance, the different luxury options as well. So if you're looking to straight up buy a car in this price point where you want to really show off and let everyone know, I'm hard pressed to find something that truly stands out. Thank you again to the dealership who allowed me to review this vehicle, Mercedes Benz of Nashville, located right there off Baker's Bridge in Cool Springs. If you're interested in a vehicle, go ahead and stop in, talk to James or Tom, and they'll get you set up in the right direction. I have reviewed a lot of vehicles from them in the past. If you click on this upper right hand card, you can see just all the videos I've made with some of their vehicles.